Earthlings, how you doing? So those who know me know that I take a lot of interest in movement issues. One issue of late is this small but growing idea that the movement is in crisis because our fellow animals are being kind of pushed out, or in the phrase, thrown under the bus. Now, I think this position is based on paranoia, and it's based on being scared of something that's not really there. And I don't think there's any evidence to support it. There's no evidence in the history of the movement. There's no suggestion that right now anyone is pushing for veganism to completely alter and become human focused. That's just not there. But what is true is that the vegan movement kind of cares about humanity in certain ways, not least because we're a social movement. You know, the founders of the movement certainly cared about humanity due to what they were saying about it. And they just formed a social movement. The social movement are populated by human beings. Our fellow animals do not create social movements or social movement organizations. We do that. You know, they are the subjects of our movement in that sense. I'm often told, oh, it's not to do with you, it's their movement. Well, that's not really true, right? The National Animal Rights March wasn't organized by chickens and cows and cats and dogs. It was organized by human beings. And so, really, the vegan position is that these things are entangled. In David Nybert's terms, entanglements of oppression and liberation, and that's how the pioneers of our movement saw it. Anyway, let me bring this up. I saw this just yesterday. See if I can get this up. Yeah, here we go. So I saw this just yesterday, and now humanity is being cast and constructed as the oppressor. Okay, now there's no doubt about it. We oppress our fellow animals and have done for decades and centuries. That's not in any doubt. We are the exploiters of our fellow animals, but we are, in Leslie Cross's terms, also the liberators. We're both of those things. You know, the vegan cause, if you like, is to create more liberators than oppressors. If we can't, and we're just oppressors, if humanity is just oppressors, what's the point of talking to them? We might as well give up because there's nothing to do. If there's no way around it, you know. I know these people are big fans of Gary Yourofsky, and the problem there is that he once said that Palestinians are the most psychotic humans on the planet, and when he was called out for racism, he said he wasn't being racist, it's just that he hates humanity, including vegans. So I don't know whether these people are taking their cue from that they hate all of humanity, so we're just oppressors, including vegans. Is that what's being said, that vegans are oppressors? As I said, if we are, and there's no hope, well, what is there to do? If it's true that all we are as humanity are oppressors of our fellow animals, then the vegan movement has got nowhere to go, you know. So I don't buy that. And neither did the pioneers of the movement. Let's bring up a few ideas that they talked about. This is an early one. This is from 46. So this is like a year after, or 2 years after the foundation of the movement. And in humanity's interest, animal exploitation must end. And so this is the key to what they always talked about, the entanglement issue. Our liberation is their liberation. Their liberation is our liberation. They just saw it that way, and they saw it that way for, you know, all the time that they were writing. This again is Watson. So 89, he was talking about the growth and the development of the vegan society, and he says that he realizes that there are pressing human issues which are related, and they're all going to be solved at once, or they're not going to be solved. But vegan values must be at the center of it, a kind of total liberation position. The 2003 one, just to make it bigger for you, This is from the Donald Watson archive. There's some remarkable sociologists working on the Donald Watson archive, and they found a letter that Watson wrote to Arthur Ling, and he said that veganism by definition claims to help animals and people. He underlined the word people. So the vegan society must do its part, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is just the way that it was seen as entangled. But our fellow animals was always the focus of the movement. There's not a problem here. This is another early one, and again from Watson. He always talked about if vegan values became widespread, it would represent the greatest peaceful revolution ever known, and in the better interest of humanity and our fellow animals. Now, this is where you get the focus and scope bit, or at least this is my version of this. What Cross said, this is Leslie Cross, it's 1951, he says there's two broad aspects of veganism. The first one is obvious, all the focus on our fellow animals and vivisection, hunting, eating them, of course, all that kind of stuff. And then he says that the second broad aspect is about human evolution. Now, this is important because of this entanglement thing that we've just talked about, right? That they thought that humanity had hit a moral low. They're in a moral trough. And we can say the same. It's still there. We're still in it, right? And so they're suggesting that if we want to see the liberation of our fellow animals, then humanity has got to morally evolve. Now, that's kind of obvious, really. You know, if we really are as bad as, it suggested, if we are oppressors, which we are, we've got to morally evolve from that, okay? And so it's as simple as that. It's just entangled. This is the surge of freedom, which is Leslie Cross's last philosophical statement about vegan philosophy. This is 1954, and just pick out this bit right at the end there. Veganism is not a mere side shoot in human evolution. They always talk about human evolution, but a central extending growth of considerable significance. Now, this essay, like all the Cross essays, are available online, and also Andy Atkinson has narrated them, so they can be heard as well as that. So let's go back to this. So what's been said? I mean, this is a paranoid position because there's no threat to the focus in this movement. There's none. They're just making that up. Now, if the idea is just to cast us as oppressors, then they've talked themselves into a cul-de-sac because there's nowhere for them to go. So their position doesn't make sense. Not only is it paranoid, it's irrational. You know, if we can't liberate our fellow animals, then why are we trying? If they're saying it's absolutely impossible because we're oppressors and we can't not be, then, what are they saying? Veganism is not about humans. Well, the focus isn't, but the scope is. This is not difficult stuff. Their position is based on paranoia. If you see it, ignore it or resist it, as far as I can see, because it's a bit silly. It's a bit small. Wouldn't be great for it to grow, but it's very silly. That's the main thing we can say about it, because it's irrational and it's also based on paranoia. Okay, people, that's me. See you.